sprinkle it on, let it absorb, and then put a little more in, you know, if it'll take it. That's looking pretty good. Okay. What we want to do is let that sponge for a few minutes, and then we'll pop it in the microwave. It'll actually take about 30 seconds in the microwave, depending on your microwave, but we need to let that sponge. Something I also have is I have a little bit of the disco dust here. This is the rainbow. I also have hologram too. But once this comes out of the microwave, I'm actually going to put some of the disco dust in it. I could have put it in before, but there was no reason. But I put it in, and then I'll actually use the disco dust. It's in the gelatin. It'll coat the balloon. But I usually wait until the last coat. The gelatin tends to shrink, and if you've got too much of this in there, it won't be a smooth balloon. It'll create, you know, because the dust is plastic, it'll be kind of bumpy. So I usually wait until the last coat to put it on. You don't have to. You can actually put it in right away and coat several times with it. Just don't go overboard with how much you put in. The reason I do it is because I want it to be kind of, I don't know, mysticy, crystally kind of. So that's why I put a little disco dust in the gelatin. Okay? So you'll see that. You'll see me do that. While we're waiting for this to sponge, let's go look at our chain, which is done. This is the chain I did earlier. It's firmed up, and you see, just pull it out, and now I have a chain mold. Okay? It's ready to use, except I have a really big one that we'll use. Okay, so this is sponged up, and we're going to go ahead and pop it in the microwave. Because it's so big, we do need about, 15 to 30 seconds. So it depends on your microwave. Because this is a really strong one, I'm going to start out with 15. Oh yeah, okay. So 15 seconds. It's a little watery. Definitely needed more time. Okay, so it's still not dissolved. There's a couple clumpy guys in there. Okay, so get all the extra pieces out that didn't dissolve. You see the pieces floating around here. The more you heat it and cool it, the clearer it will become. However, I've never done that. Well, I mean, I've done it, but I've never done it for my projects because I don't have enough time. I don't have time to sit around and wait for it to cool and then heat it and then do that several times. So I just do it, and my finished products are just as clear. So, okay, so what I have is my balloon here, and what I'm going to do is put this in this bowl, in the smaller bowl, and as I do it, you see there's another piece of gelatin. You've got to make sure that this isn't too hot. If this is too hot, it's got to feel, the same temperature as your finger. It should not feel hot to your hands at all. If it is, you're going to pop the balloon, and you end up with wet gelatin and balloon everywhere. So you've got to make sure that it's cool enough that it's not going to pop this rubber, okay? And what I do is I pour it on top, because pouring works better than anything. And see, there's a clump. There's a big chunk of it. You don't want that. Get that off. There we go. And then I roll it around. Get it nice and smooth. Don't worry about any imperfections because it's going to, they'll shrink as it dries. Okay, so we roll it around to cover it. Try not to get too many bubbles in it. Again, not a big deal. Then I've got the bushing. Here it is. I'm going to thread it through, put it on. I've got the handle to hold it, and then I can pull it right side up. It's funny because they tell you, there are other people that do these balloons, that have started doing these balloons, the big ones, and they say, oh, put it in a cup. Well, how the heck am I supposed to get that in a cup? I haven't seen pictures of them putting this in a cup. I'd get it all over my hand. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. There's got to be either a hole on the other side of the cup. I don't know how they do it. So this works really well. If you're going to do the cup method, put a hole in it so you can grab it. That's the only way. That's the only thing I can think of. I've got a little bit of a line here. This is because we've got the AC on, so if you've got the air conditioning on, the gelatin's not going to run all the way down, which is a problem with a really big balloon too. When you do something really big, the gelatin cools before it runs off. But that ridge will be very minimal once this is dry. It's going to shrink. We're going to do another a couple more coats, so don't worry about it. Okay, so at this point you can put it in a cup to let it now set it in a regular cup to let it dry. Okay, or I've got my little slotted plate here that we can put it in. This is one of those plates that they used to hold your paper plates during the summer, and I can just, whoops, I can just put it in that. It's actually dry enough, but what we're going to do is we are going to reheat the gelatin. We're going to put it back into the little bowl, because I like pouring from the little bowl into the big bowl, not the other way around. And we're going to dip it 2 more times. You do want to get a fairly firm coating on there. You don't want it too paper thin, because you don't want the gelatin like rip a hole or anything when you're trying to take the balloon out. So, and you want it to be smooth. You know, if it's kind of crinkly, it's not a smooth bubble. If it's not thick enough, it's not smooth. If it's too thin, it looks kind of crinkly. And I'll show you because I have one. So you'll see. Okay, so this, you can tell, look, it's already dry to the touch. Actually, it was dry when I put it in there. This is still, it's a little cool. I'm going to warm this up just for 5 seconds. So I pour from the little bowl into the big bowl, and that's just the way I like to do it. Okay, so again, I put my finger in, make sure it's not too hot. Okay, nice and room temperature, finger temp, so that we're not going to end up, okay, we take it out of its little bushing, reducer bushing. And again, I pour it on top all the way around. And we smooth it around in the bowl. Don't wait too long because it's going to solidify really fast. You need to get that bushing on and flip it over as fast as possible. Again, if you need the paintbrush, you can actually paint, you know, parts of it, you know, try and get some of the bubbles off. See, you can dip it in and kind of paint some of those bubbles off, or if you get a big chunk on it or something. But it's going to cool pretty fast.